congratulations. This is a huge season, broken into two very, well-awaited pieces. You're coming back with what I think, Don, is probably your most creatively ambitious batch of episodes.
The first four that you've already seen?
The next four.
The next four. Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. You've taken a concept that I think some would have completely written off as a novelty gag, like a horror movie novelty gag, and you've elevated it to one of the only horror franchises that has been able to straddle both film and television in such a stylized way that you are now getting to possibly merge these two worlds?
Merge and add on to the ever-evolving, I think of it as a sandcastle that is the Chucky verse.
Okay. So if you're alluding to the news this week that I'm working on a movie,
yes.
It's very early days, but yeah, the idea is that we want to continue doing the show, but I want to do movies as well, and so the idea is that they would work in tandem with one another, so people in the show may turn up in the movie and vice versa.
Okay, all right. They have heard this, students, right? You've let them know.
They are.
Yes. Did you ever? I mean, it's been a bit that you've been working with Chucky. Did you ever imagine him in the White House?
Yes. Yeah. Because you're always Chucky, just being a children's toy, a doll. He tends to burrow his way into families and homes, and so you're always kind of looking for a new version of that. And just the thought of the opening, the teaser of episode 301 that aired last fall, when we see Chucky in the bed with the kid and talking to his mom, and it's only when we pull back to see he's in the White House. That to me, just knowing that Chucky is in the White House, because that itself has so many implications that it just seemed irresistible. Plus, I had done a whole lot of research into the actual lore about the White House being haunted, and I just saw that as an opportunity to expand our supernatural worlds.
Okay, and because you are going full bore into a ghost story.
Yes.
Yeah. And you even had the nods to the book, The Ghost of the White House. That's just laying around.
Right.
You think maybe the president and the first lady would have read it. Before
we know Henry has read it.
Yeah. The place is haunted as hell.
It's very haunted.
Yeah. What specifically have you guys gotten right as far as the design of the White House? Was there any consultant who was like, oh, these always go this way and that way?
Oh, I mean, the White House has been replicated. It's all a matter of record, actually. So it's really not hard to replicate the White House in terms of the layout. I think the challenge is to make it aesthetically interesting, because in my opinion, it's always a little wonky, in my opinion. I look at it, and everyone comes in and redoes it, and it's always really? So,
but never modern. It's always grandma's furniture.
Well, yeah. But I felt they're locked in a colonial house or whatever, that's Greek revival or something, but I don't know. It's always important on our show that we make everything beautiful, so I think our production designer, John Donnerman, the idea of doing a green palette in the Oval Office was, I think they should do it for real. It's great. It's just a great background for the blood you are inevitably going to spill in.
And you do love, and I know that this is because Brian De Palma kind of informed a lot of your aesthetics, and so you love that gorgeous meets violent.
Exactly.
Yeah. And as the Chuckyverse has expanded, you have also baked into the DNA a level of inclusion that is so it's not forced, but it's also not a thing. It's just there. It's just dealing with LGBT, disabilities, mental health issues, bad parenting. How has that been for you to kind of take these things and really get to play all of those things out in a very heightened world, but these are also very important things?
I think it only works because the cast is so great at embodying, you can do whatever crazy ass thing, but in order to really make it mean something people. It's these people here that I'm with that really ground it and make us care.
You're welcome, Don.
All right, so let's talk about these kids. Because they're not kids anymore. This is the crazy thing. They started as kids. Zach, we spoke a couple months ago, and you mentioned how you were 14 when you started the show. 14! Not old enough to see a Chucky movie. And this character he started off as a total loner. He's carrying that doll around high school. And now he's like hero guy.
Well, I mean, that's the amazing thing about the show is that the characters, Lexi's character started out as kind of a bully, and she developed into the friends of the amigos. But he really came out of the shell as also due to the love interest, Devon Evans.
Yes.
And now he has something to fight for. Is this chosen family?
Well, this is the great thing, is watching these characters evolve and grow up. Not just grow up into heroic things, like fighting a demon doll, but also just dealing with life stuff. They've all lost parents. They've all gone through stuff. Lexi started off as technically any other show, she would have been the villain. And now she's the one, there's nothing, and I'm not spoiling anything, but you get the line, I think it's in the second episode of the second half of the season, where you remind them, we're the heroes. We've got to save the day. And this is a girl who would never have stepped up like that.
Yeah, I think that I'm so lucky to have such an amazing arc over this season. Thank you, Dawn. Lexi definitely started as a person that you wanted to be killed off, and now it was really important to me that by the end you're rooting for her. I remember the first time we ever talked, you told me all of the horrible things that she does, and I said, okay, how's she get redeemed? Because I need some redeeming qualities. And that's always important, no matter what character you're playing, to have something that, at the end of the day, there's a reason that they're doing it, or a reason behind it, and her reason is her upbringing and the way that her mother's treated her, and it was with Caroline her entire life, and she doesn't feel like she has a place, and then ended up killing her mom anyway, so thanks for that too. But
It's all it took to make her a nice person.
yes, exactly.
Still a parent.
I think that it was such an honor to kind of get to play that arc, and I think that they definitely brought it out of her, and she had never been loved before. She never felt that connection to somebody because she didn't really have that with her own family, and I think that that's just a message of how much people that love you can bring that out.
And speaking of love, we do have our couple. Jake and Devon are such a cute couple because regardless of the fact that this is a terrifying world that they live in, they're the most innocent romance on TV. They're just cute. Yet I love the fact that as he's grown up and as he's gotten older, he's still really awkward.
Yeah. Wait, me? I think that's really true. I think, especially from season 1 to this season, Devon is a bit more mature, a bit more serious, but he still is, his little nerdy self. I did some digging, guys. I did all this research, and you guys are like, yeah, sure, let's get this over. Okay, fine. But I said it, bro. I don't care what they say. It's fine. I spent a lot of time about that. And I think that is kind of one of Devon's redeeming qualities. I think keeps him interesting, keeps him, going. I think, if he was just serious, I feel like he'd be boring pretty quick. So I think, that little nerdy, awkward side to him, I think is really fun to play, and I think it shows really cool on the show. So.
And they get a little bit more serious this season. Did having 2 seasons of working together help kind of find that new level of intimacy that you get to explore?
As Don Steele goes, this season and real life as friends, and we're definitely comfortable with each other, and we get to have the characters explore the relationship.
Yeah, he said, I guess.
Breaking up the habit.
I think honestly, I think it will be harder to kind of do what we're doing just right immediately. Getting season 1 where a couple blah blah. I think building it throughout the season. Season 1 we end a couple season 2 has that drama. Season 3 kind of we're trying to get back to what we were trying to do before. And I think that I don't know. Thank you so much. I think that movement that flow that makes it like more realistic, not so quick. I think gives us time to work on ourselves and also work on our characters and also not feel too fast in the show when we're watching it.
Yeah, nice. And it's so true to life, like, every gay couple has like that glamorous hot girlfriend. That's like kind of bitchy, but we love her. So I love the fact like this is like they got her, they're getting theirs in like high school, even though they have not gone to school.
That is exactly how I described Lexi. She's kind of bitchy, but we love her.
Exactly. And now, so Jennifer and Devon, you guys have worked with these three since the beginning. Jennifer as pretty much the same character, Devon, whichever character you decide to take on that season. But Jackson, you're the newbie on the panel. How was it moving into this?
I mean, it's an honor to jump into this world and this franchise that's so beloved, and it was just a huge honor, and I feel lucky that these guys accepted me, and yeah, it's really an honor to be a part of this family. Jackson, show.
He really did.
Yeah, it's not an easy world to step into.
No, not at all. And that was something that, like, you know, is definitely, I had never done really, like, horror-esque stuff before, and the stakes of Chucky are unlike anything else. And so I had a lot of conversations with, you know, these three and my other castmates of, like, kind of how do I do that? How do you guys do this? How do you bring reality to these situations where these stakes are so ridiculous and you have nothing to pull from in your life, and like, you know, because you need to make the audience care for these people and believe in these circumstances and, you know, root for these characters. And so it's definitely a challenge, but a fun journey. And yeah.
And I feel like Grant is kind of like the recipient of the Chucky twist, where we met him as kind of like a burnout kid who could have been like, all right, well, he needs to go because he sucks. He's like terrible brother, and he's just checked out. And now we get to see like the softer side of him and how he got his feelings hurt, because we don't know what it's like for a kid like this to have the world's most famous parents and not to know who to trust. So it's been really cool to get to see this kid fill in with these guys, but also find his own voice.
Right, yeah, no, you nailed it with that. I think Grant is really misunderstood, and he's in a situation that only a handful of people have ever felt or realized, and he's a normal teenager dealing with all sorts of stuff of, you know, finding your identity and, you know, finding your place in the world and who you want to be, but on top of that, he's the president's kid, he has all these eyes on him, and he can't really have friends or, you know, open himself up to people in certain ways. And so when he really starts to have this connection with Lexi, it's like that much more special and important. And so when she sort of breaks his trust, it's that much more heartbreaking. And it's just a tough situation because all he wants is to be a normal kid and be loved and accepted. And I think at the start, when, like you're saying, he kind of is acting obnoxious or like a jerk, that's definitely just a mask of like, he wants to fit in, he wants these people to like him, but he doesn't know how to do it, and so he's like bragging or, you know, trying to seem cool, but at his core, like, he's just a, you know, confused kid who wants to be loved and wants to be accepted, and, you know, I think he does have a good heart, but he doesn't always know how to show it.
And I also like that he has a pretty good dad. Like, this could have been a character who had like a really terrible father, and his father was the president. You know, so Jennifer Tilly, who
I have stuff to say.
I know you do. I feel like you have been in your own show for most of this season, and it's a show that I would watch as a full Chucky spinoff.
Well, I think there is such a thing as too much Tiffany. And I think Don agrees with me because I get the scripts and he's like, okay, you're not in the first episode, but you're in the second episode a little bit. Maybe you should sit out the third episode, but then I'll bring you back on the fifth episode. So I like it because I'm really lazy. Like, a lot of actors go through the script to see how many scenes they have. I get the script, I'm hoping I don't have a lot of scenes because I like to lay in bed and eat donuts on my days off. So I really have to have a lot of days off. But also too, I feel like I have the best character on the show for me because I don't like to act that hard. And Tiffany just kind of comes in, she's got her fabulous snarky, smokes a cigarette, she leaves. And then I get the full-size paycheck for those little teeny tiny cards. But this season, I got my script and I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? Tiffany is crying, she's on death row, there's all these things happening. She's having to show genuine emotions, and I'm not getting paid extra to do those genuine emotions. I'm like, wait a minute, Don. Fiona's the one that's supposed to be crying. She's really good at that. She's a really good professional actress. And Don's like, well, we want Tiffany to have some depth. I'm like, yeah, let's get my little actors there. Like, depth. Oh, that's when you're more than one-dimensional. So I think the thing is, Don loves me. He wants Tiffany to be in every single season. And so he's like, I have to give Tiffany a little dimension so the audiences will care about them. So I hope you'll care about me very, very much in the second half because terrible things are about to happen to Tiffany. And I say about to happen because every time I open my mouth, Don gives me the, don't you give anything away. No spoilers. So that's all I'm going to say. You're going to see more fabulous outfits from Tiffany. And then you're going to see some real Academy Award style acting. They have different directors every episode. Of course, everybody's favorite director is Don Mancini. We love him, but we have really good directors on the show. But a lot of actors are like, what's my motivation? I say, hey, when I lie down on the bed, can you please put the camera there so I don't count like 3 chins? I'm very concerned with how Tiffany looks because I know glamour is the key to my character. Not crying, Don Mancini.
Yes.
Crying can be really glamorous.
You're going to see actual real tears. I worked with some actors, they have their assistant, they're like, crying scene. The assistant runs up, they have a little thing, they blow into their eyes. And all of a sudden, tears are running down their face. My tears are genuine, salty tears that comes from my inner anguish, my own tears. Did you have a question for me?
That was amazing. Thank you so much. That was the surge one and bump I think we all needed. Don, there was a line that Tiffany had, and I had to ask, is this, she says, get three things from these security guards before I'm executed in 10 nights.
Get a personal item from
right.
each of the 6 guards that stand between Tiffany and her freedom.
Right, before I'm executed in 3 nights' time. Was that a nod to Into the Woods?
No, it's a nod to the Robert Wise 1960 movie I Want to Live with Susan Hayward.
Nice.
It's a very deep dive. See it, it's great.
Don wanted me to watch that. I just remembered before I started the season and I forgot. Because he said that's where my whole character is. I want to live Susan Hayward. I forgot, Don, you should have brought me to your house, laid out a nice spread of Domino's pizza and made me watch it.
Going from jumpsuits to 3-piece suits, Devon, the President of the United States. This guy,
I'm down here.
yeah, how's it going?
Way down here.
It's good to see you.
See you. How you been?
I've been well. How many
Thanks
times?
for everybody coming out.
How many times have you been killed now?
Like 3, 4, 5, no.
3.
Sure.
3 times so far.
So far.
Yeah.
So, do you at this point get to be in on the decision of how you die?
No.
Well, I talked to you about it.
Easy, exciting ways for me to die, and I do it. But you never know. I might not die this year.
Okay. All right.
So we're gonna wait and see.
But if we get a season 4, we should have a contest where people
Oh my God.
I don't know why it just wasn't
of how you would like to see Chucky kill Devon Sawa.
Well, I still think Leslie's mom got the best death ever. That was just so ridiculously horrible.
Which one? I didn't hear it.
My mom.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Especially at Christmas.
Horrifying.
And Barbara's in the Halloween horror house, and Molly was like, that's my mom. Yeah. That's who has her body.
Yeah. Nice. So Devon, this year you got to play actually almost the most normal person of your role so far.
All the characters.
Yeah. And he's, and the first thing, I love their dynamic. I love kind of what, they're dealing with this grief in very different ways, and seeing them kind of struggle to find that balance. Which of the characters you've got to play would you say is closest to you?
Who's the most what?
Closest to you.
I would have to say the president is the most, he's the nicest character. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And this is, well, because the other ones have been very colorful.
The season 1 characters were dark, and
Yeah.
I'm definitely not those guys. And there's a little bit of me in the priest for sure.
The priest had a nice chest, and that's sort of like Devon.
Thanks, Jim.
We've all seen the Instagrams. Yeah.
The priest looked good naked.
Yes. No idle hands there. Thank you. So you and Jen have been doing this for the longest, career-wise, for the longest, because the others were not live when you guys started working.
Wow.
Yeah. They were psychos in season 1. What have they taught you? What did the kids tell you guys?
Oh,
Yeah.
Because it's always like, the grown-ups on the show taught us how to get an agent and all this. I want to hear what the kids are teaching the adults.
Like about beats and stuff, like is that the right way? Making beats.
Well, Allie taught us all how to accurately say Zendaya.
I did teach them. Everybody thought that Zendaya
You were
was
saying
Zendaya. So I corrected
the
them.
kids to provide clarification on stuff like that, but also anything regarding our phones.
I mean, I think that it's also nice to have the younger people we kind of go through and be like, hey, I don't think that we would say that, or certain things that we feel like we can kind of not kind of youngify the characters. I think that especially with your character a lot, you brought a lot of your own personality into it, and kind of your sassiness in your real life.
Yeah.
And I think that also, as the seasons have gone on, you kind of started writing for us and more for how we are in everyday life and the way that we speak, and you spend so much time with us, and I think that's very apparent in Devon's character the most out of all 3 of us.
And now, Devon, you've gotten to play opposite the kids in previous seasons, a little bit more menacingly. Jennifer, when do we get to see Tiffany really mess with these kids?
I know. I hardly ever have scenes with the kids, and I hardly ever had a dibby-dab of a scene with Devon in the first season. And when I watch the show, I'm just in awe of what's been going on while I was in my trailer eating donuts. Oh my God, I'm so impressed by the talent of these children. Well, not children, young actors. And I would love to have more scenes with him. I had a great scene with Allie this season where she comes and she's like, "Where's my sister?" I was actually a little scared, and then I realized, I'm Tiffany, world famous murderer, and I would be frightened of Allie's character. But Devon's amazing. Jackson's a great addition to the trio, and I'm hoping that Jackson and Allie's characters will have a romance somewhere down the line.
Of course.
Because she always has to stand to one side and see these 2 almost get it on, and I say, almost get it on. Because every time they're about to get it on, someone comes running in, or Chucky kills somebody, and they